his opponent.
The one-time King of the Commodore has become in recent years, Josh, a kingmaker of sorts here in the Pacific Northwest. If you want to rise to the top in this territory, you gotta go through the guy who used to run this show, and that's El Phantasmo, now making us proud, of course, at the national and international level, was strutting his stuff at Forbidden Door 2 not too long ago.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, Justin, because that's where I wanted to start this as well. If you want to advance through the territory, your match with El Phantasmo in Vancouver is worth something. And Miles Deville has maybe a different angle to this because he is a little tired of the comparisons between himself and El Phantasmo.
You can see it in their general demeanor. But speaking of dream matches, which is what we just saw for Rose against a long-time desired opponent for her in Jody Threat, you know Miles has been looking forward to this match.
Well, exactly right.
For years and years and years against El Phantasmo.
Now, here they are just trying to show what's Miles trying to prove here. We know El Phantasmo is beloved, and we know that you and Tara Zep are disliked in these parts right now.
He feels like he's on something of a hot streak, perhaps. Of course, lost his last match in the tag division, the dissolution of the team between Miles Deville and Sebastian Wolfe. State of emergency, no more. The state dissolved before our eyes.
Is it possible Miles was watching backstage earlier tonight as he saw his former partner pick up maybe the biggest singles win of his career?
Well, we know he was watching because he ran right out with a steel chair afterwards and weighed in the attack.
I just mean, did he see the match? Did he see Sebastian's growth? And did he maybe think, okay, I have to go out there and match that tonight? Is this about more somehow than just beating maybe the best this territory's ever produced?
You are absolutely correct, sir. That is why they call you the wrestling brain, a mind for the business like none other. They are not just in competition with their actual opponents here tonight. They are in indirect competition with each other. Miles is not out to prove anything to himself, I don't think. He is trying to prove he is the guy when it comes to being compared to his now former partner, Sebastian Wolfe.
Perfectly said, Justin. As we see agility from both gentlemen on display, a bit of a standoff after some chain exchanges on the ground. Let's see how this advances forward.
Well, he would never admit to having perhaps some pregame jitters heading into this one. You have to think that this is a big match, as we mentioned, for Miles Deville, and if you can get through the early stages of it, still intact, you're putting yourself in prime position to go the distance.
Well, and no matter how you imagine it, when you're in the ring and you see the El Phantasmo entrance, he's got the shades, he's got the jacket, ELP over the loudspeakers. Not letting that to get to your head is part of the battle.
Got to build that confidence early. And as I said, Miles might think he's on something of a winning streak right now because he was not supposed to be here this evening. Himself, as well as his partner Tara Zep, were suspended after their dastardly actions back on Cinco de Mayo.
But here they are back, and you can see why NEW would make that concession. Miles Deville is a talent.
Well, it's the litigious nature of the manager, Christopher Cassidy, who is not here this evening, probably because he's already ran up all the hours on his lawyerly rate heading into this one.
The retainer is full.
Yes, the advocate getting his client reinstated.
Just showing off his El Phantasmo here. Flying through the air and making it look absolutely easy. But Miles has had enough. Saying, face me. Don't disrespect me like that. Strong words from Miles Deville. El Phantasmo's going to answer, telling the crowd to hush. And that's why Miles Deville not brought off his feet by that enormous chop though.
You can hear that one across the street in the Commodore.
Oh, and on return. El Phantasmo feeling it, but also not brought off his feet.
These two men comfortable going chop for chop right now. And that is not often a place you want to be. Unless you have the chip on your shoulder. Hell, a full bag of chips on your shoulder like Miles Deville does right now.
Hell, it's feeling like the whole Pringles can in some instances. Here's El Phantasmo. You know his offense off the ropes is basically unparalleled. He's dancing up. He's dancing down. Miles Deville may be confused trying to keep track as he starts his signature rope walk. Here goes El Phantasmo. Amazing from this position, Justin. A quick stop on the corner to continue the day's Miles Deville. Dancing! The crowd is loving this. Here is El Phantasmo.
That's old school Phantasmo. He looks like he's back at the Sapperton Pensioners Hall right now.
But Tara Zep gets in the way, showing off exactly why a manager sometimes is exactly what you need to even the odds in a wrestling match.
And you know, if we were at the Sapperton Pension Hall right now, he wouldn't have fallen off the ropes because he could have put his hands up on the ceiling rail.
Exactly right. One of the lowest ceiling buildings I've ever experienced. And a big stomp on the apron from Miles Deville. Looks like the fooling around has ended. Miles did get his wish. Maybe the disrespect is over and we're into a bit of a fight between these two guys who clearly are disliking each other more by the moment.
And you have to wonder, Josh, if the success of a guy like El Phantasmo in recent years is perhaps the reason that some of these men that we've seen compete on this show, heck, some of the women as well, may have stepped into the squared circle in the first place because it takes someone from your area going all the way, perhaps sometimes, to prove to you that it can, in fact, happen.
And you can never shake that. No matter where you go in life, those early inspirations live in your heart. You know that to be true.
So despite the fact that Miles Deville not conducting himself like he has a ton of respect for his opponent at the moment, perhaps he's burying it down deep.
But also, maybe El Phantasmo, knowing that Tara Zep's at ringside, needs to have this in the back of his mind. I can't be on the ropes, I can't be on the outside, I might need to fight this guy on his terms. And here they go. Huge knee from Miles Deville to the body of El Phantasmo, an uppercut to follow. El Phantasmo dazed from that one, his kicks to the body follow. This is Miles Deville saying, I have arrived.
And Miles very comfortable taking that count from the ref all the way to 5. And now he's going to gather in referee Mark Gager while Tara Zep continues to choke out El Phantasmo on the side of the ring.
And this is what I'm talking about. El Phantasmo is no longer safe on the other side of those ropes, which is where he plies his trade so often. But a big kick out shows that he's got plenty left.
We talked about the fact that Miles Deville might be looking to build some confidence in the early stages of this one. Perhaps the fact that his manager and girlfriend is at ringside with him tonight might play into El Phantasmo's playbook, as you mentioned, Josh, because if you can get him a little bit overconfident and trying to perhaps show off in front of Tara, Well, that might be a perfect opportunity for El Phantasmo to find the upper hand once more.
Creative victim of his own hubris. Here's LP on the comeback. Elbows to the body, ducks the lariat. And again, huge flying forearm from El Phantasmo.
And you can see why he is one of the best that this region has ever produced. Everything that ELP does in that ring, he makes it look easy, and you know it is not.
Absolutely. And I wonder if Miles Deville is feeling any of that at all. I wonder if he is feeling the big game experience that LP has brought with him. Of course, a New Japan heavyweight, some of the most elite roster in the world, and a big kick up. LP's on the lookout, and he's ready with an atomic drop.
Big chop to the chest from El Phantasmo as he's right back on the attack.
And a body slam. We're keeping it in the center of the ring. It's looking like he's learned his lesson as he returns to the second turnbuckle. Takes the photo, sets the shot.
Picture perfect knee to the head of Deville.
El Phantasmo falling out the size of the ring, but that is part of being a professional. That is part of being in different federations. Can you apply your trade in this ring, this rope toughness, this crowd? It all plays in when you're entering a pro wrestling match.
And maybe perhaps a familiarity with this ring style can play into the hands of Deville right now.
Good point.
Though a big cross body off the ropes from El Phantasmo might put a halt to that. Now, a lion salt.
But still lots of strength in that kick out from Deville. Hand under, pushing off. Showing his strength, showing he's not here to go home.
And you have to respect a guy like El Phantasmo as well, that every single time he makes a return trip back to Vancouver, it would be so easy to come in here and act like you have nothing to prove.
Right.
But he carries himself like that same young buck he was entering the Commodore maybe 10 years ago now. Every single time he comes back here, he's eager to prove something. And right there, eager to stay in this match.
Miles Deville less eager for one El Phantasmo to stay in this match as he heads to the turnbuckle, perhaps looking for what might bring this to its bitter end.
We just saw some aerial offense from ELP. Can Miles answer back? He takes a stiff kick right to the head.
What's that, an 8-foot kick to the head? And he's back up. This is his world. Oh! No, Phantasmo making Vancouver remember him.
Big cross-body splash to the downed opponent. And that could be all she wrote for Miles Deville. No! He is able, somehow, some way, to get that shoulder up.
Red-chested, red-faced, breathless, but there is no quit in Miles Deville, and he is not going home this easily from El Phantasmo.
He is gasping for air like he just came up from 6 minutes underwater. But he's back on his feet, and you have to admire his resiliency, even if you can't admire his tactics.
Phantasmo with the arms hooked. Head between the knees, but he gets out. Boot in the corner.
Big Irish whip, and you could hear the impact of that one reverberate right around this building.
LP threw him to that corner. Another thing that'll knock the wind out of you.
Miles answering the challenge. Nice little kick stop to prevent himself from going face first into the turnbuckle as he turns the tides in this one.
Now, this is interesting. Justin, oh my goodness!
Canadian destroyer from Miles Deville. May have just destroyed that Canadian, but El Phantasmo kicks out. Wow!
And Miles is not satisfied, headed straight to the top turnbuckle. He senses the agony off of ELP, but that does not mean that this is over. He has his message for the crowd, and they have theirs for him!
450 splash off the top rope into a cover.
2.9!
El Phantasmo with the kick out. We saw Sebastian Wolfe pick up a huge surprise victory over Jonathan Gresham earlier in the evening. Can Miles respond with the biggest win of his young career as well as a single star?
And you know what Miles is showing, Justin? Miles is showing, no matter what, move for move, speed for speed, when the bullets get flying, he can still hang with a member of Bullet Club.
Tara Zep now with an assist on the outside. Though out comes Wolfe.
Here he is.
The big bad Wolfe himself looking to tear a strip off of his former partner. The bad blood between these two men flows deep as can be. And Miles with a tope suicida just connected with Tara Zep.
The distraction from Sebastian Wolfe has given El Phantasmo an opportunity to climb to the top.
LP thinking moonsault on the outside, and he gets it! Oh my God!
Unbelievable! You have to love this!
Super kick from ELP! And he's going back now for the CR2!
Lays him out! For the win!
Perhaps not the result that Miles Deville would have liked, but my goodness, what a match just the same.
Sebastian Wolfe may be the shadow following Miles Deville until they put this behind them. This crowd knows how good he is, and so does El Phantasmo.
But like you said, Josh, they say that
Wolfe and ELP, maybe an alliance of sorts, or at least a blessing. Go right ahead. As Sebastian Wolfe jumps into guard and lays in the furious fist into Miles Deville. Here comes Tara Zep.
Tara now once a former manager, not just of Miles, but of Sebastian as well. And he just dropped her like a sack of potatoes.
Shucks her off, but that maybe has fired up Miles Deville, who returns with some big punches.
Another big takedown, however, from Sebastian Wolfe, as these two could literally fight forever if they were not being torn asunder right now.
I don't even know if the locker room will be enough to keep these guys apart. What, you're going to keep them apart for now? What happens a day, a week, a month from now? These two are at some point going to have to settle this.
Even if you can get them into the backstage area, this fight will only continue there. As you can
Miles
see,
rushes back! You can feel the hatred, Justin. Technique is out the window. This is fury.
the current tag team champions of the Union of Lightning and Thunder having to pull apart the now former tag champions.
One thing to say. You need to get this fucking over with now. You and you across the street. No rules, no holds barred.
Oh, wow.
AEW 14, you settle it once and for all.
That's what needed to happen. A great call from President Rob Vey.
I don't know if that's going to settle it once and for all, though. I feel like this is bad blood that will boil over for a long, long time to come.
Seeing how this is progressing, Justin, you might be right.
And you're banned from that match. You're banned from the ballroom.
That's an equalizer.
Banned from the ballroom, Tara Zep.
If you're Sebastian Wolfe and you're hearing that, I imagine some smile comes across your face. Tara Zep not very happy about this decision. Nor Miles Deville, who's not done.
They say inside of you there are two wolves, but for Miles Deville there is just one, and he's right behind him, stalking his prey as these two are set to lock horns for the very first, and I'm sorry, Rob Fay, it will not be the final time.